Chopping, chopping, chopping. Planting, planting, planting. Crafting, crafting, crafting. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to our vanilla world, this time with 100% more wheat. With food being as much of an issue as it is, I've started working on the new wheat farm, which will eventually take up most of, if not all of, this part of the island. Since we're planning on moving our base underground or underwater in the near future, my plan for now is to make our starting island kind of an area for all the different farms we have, including our animal farm over there, a tree farm somewhere, and of course our wheat farm. The main design for the wheat farm has been pretty simple so far. Pretty much have just been counting out the 4 blocks, hiding our water source somewhere under the terrace if we can, or just putting it in there and then hoeing out an area and putting whatever seeds we have left on it. I don't know what it is about the wheat or just different crops in general, but they look so good when you just have a large area of them. So kind of my plan is to kind of put, you know, wheat all over this island, but the one thing that we do need to figure out is what we're going to do with fences and lighting and stuff like that, because the one issue that I've come or that I've noticed is that mobs will spawn over here or walk into this area and they will eventually trample some of the crops. So we want to stop that from happening as much as possible, and we're gonna have to figure out a way to do that. The main issue that I see is the part of the island that we chose here kind of tapers off really quickly. Super steep, I guess, is the right word. Over here is a little bit better. So I think what I'll try to do is get like some fences and see if we can come up with some design that doesn't look terrible and also keeps mobs out. And if that doesn't work, then we might have to do some terraforming. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to plant as much area as I can and see what we're looking at, and then we'll figure out what to do from there. Well, after some time farming, it seems like we have a little friend here. I think these guys give some pretty good trade. Let's see, this guy gives us coral, nautilus. That's actually a pretty good trade. Pumpkin, cyanide, packed ice. Okay. Well, 5 emeralds for a knowledge shell isn't too great, but that's pretty nice. We could steal these llamas, but I'm feeling a little nice, so I don't think we're gonna steal them yet. Your llamas are safe for now. We'll see how long this guy sticks around. I would imagine he'll probably leave, but maybe he'll stay around and be our friend for a little while. So I came back to our base to create some replacement hoes, and he followed us inside. So I mean, I think he really does want to stick around, which means while I go finish up this wheat farm, I think he's just gonna hang out here. The wheat farm is coming along pretty nicely, but as I've been making some trips back and forth, I've realized it kind of looks a little bit plain in the center there after I removed so many trees. So I think one of the building projects we're going to do is build a quick windmill, or maybe like a scarecrow or something. Just add some detail to break up the wheat farm. I've cleared out a pretty nice area, I've gotten some materials, and that means it's time to get the building montage rolling. Looking pretty good. Now it is missing something. We're missing some wool, so we're definitely gonna have to get our animal farm going, especially our sheep farm, to completely finish this. But overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think at some point, once we get some more spruce wood, I'm gonna want to go back and change out some of the wood textures with some spruce, or even some of the logs with some spruce, to kind of switch it up a little bit and make it look a little bit less plain texture-wise. But overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I think once we get the extra wool added for the sails, it's gonna really make that look awesome. But even just adding that little bit of detail makes the wheat farm look a lot more realistic, and especially once we clear out some of this area and add some fences, it's gonna look really nice. Switching gears a little bit, now it's time to work with some of our animals. So of course the biggest thing we need is wool, but of course we'll probably want a decent amount of cows as well for when we feel a little bit lazy and don't want to have to harvest wheat for food. So right now we have a decent supply of animals, but I think one of the things we're going to want to do is go ahead and split up the different animals, especially the sheep, because if we can get them kind of in an easier way to shear them, especially later when we do like different colors of sheep, doing that earlier rather than later is going to be easier, because I'd rather move 6 sheep than 5,000 of them. So we need to clear out an area for where we want the sheep and where we want the cows. So I do like one area here, and then I think if we just kind of clear out this little forest here, and put one of the other animals here, that should be good enough. Now the real fun begins. We have to somehow figure out how to get all the sheep or cows from this pen to this pen. The only issue being that both cows and sheep really like wheat. So this could be fun. Let's just see who. I actually have no idea how we're gonna do this. There might need to be some sheep murdering. Oh, okay. Looks like we got 2 cows, so I guess we're gonna move the cows. That's one way to figure it out. Here we go. The first. No. Oh my goodness, really? Okay, so we got 2. Let's see if we can get this guy. Okay, we got him. There we go. This isn't too bad. All right. Well, we almost got all of them. This guy's being a little bit of a pain. So, there you go. Would you look at that? We now have all of our cows over to the left, all of our sheep to the right. That makes our life a lot easier. So now all we have to do is get some more sheep going, grab some wool, and then I think we'll be able to finish up our windmill. Good thing it's summertime, because we're gonna need to borrow this wool real quick. Last one. Wow, that looks so much better, but it's still missing something. Perfect. I think that looks really good. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I definitely want to add, I think, one more thing kind of off to the right, but for now I think that looks exactly how I was hoping it would. I still do want to switch out some of the wood with spruce, but we can do that later. So now that we've kind of finished our big building project for the day, we have our animals breeding and kind of separated and all that kind of stuff, and we have a decent supply of food, or a good way to get a supply of food. I think we can kind of start moving on to some of the planning and some of the preparation for our underwater base. Now, for our underwater base, we are going to need a ton of glass. And in the last episode, we looked around and got a bunch of sand. Now, sand isn't glass, and in order to turn sand into glass, we're going to have to do some smelting. So we do have 3 furnaces here, but, you know, doing all that manually is a little bit of work. So I think what we're going to do is set up a super early, super easy auto smelter thing. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this all on camera, which that way, if you guys have never seen this done before, maybe you'll kind of learn how it works. And it's such an easy setup. It's super nice to have early game. So I figured it's worth it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some hoppers. We're actually going to need 6 hoppers. So I need to find some of our wood. All of our storage is not well organized right now, but you know, we have plenty of time. We can figure that out later. So we need our hoppers. I'm gonna go ahead and get some extra chests as well. We're gonna want probably 6 chests as well. And that's it. That's really all we need. So we're gonna set this up out on our dock, but we're gonna sleep first. And to get this one going, it's pretty simple. So you start out with your bottom chest, which this is where all the items that have finished smelting are going to go into. You're going to want the 2 hoppers to face into those, put the furnace on top, have the 2 more hoppers going into the sides of them. This is going to be where the coal will go, and then have 2 hoppers on top. And that'll be where the items you want to smelt is. And that's it. Super easy. So that will allow us to take a bunch of the sand we have here, take a bunch of this coal. Actually, I'm gonna take 2 stacks of it. Put all that up there. Put that in there. And with time, this will start to fill up with sand. A couple minutes later, and we have a pretty decent amount of glass. So we still have some sand turning to glass, but while we're waiting for that, I figured we'd go ahead and get some of our underwater base started. So I've already done a little bit of exploring, and I think I found a really cool area for our base. It's pretty close to here, but it's a little bit of a journey. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of kind of the plan for this, making progress at the beginning is going to be a little bit tough, mainly because draining water is going to be an issue. So probably in the next episode, or maybe in 2 episodes, we're going to have to go find a guardian temple, not only to get a prismarine farm going, but also to see if we can get some sponges. But anyways, I think this is where I want the center of our base to be. As you can see, there's kind of this like circular like center type thing, and then it kind of falls off and goes into the deeper ocean, which I think could be really cool, especially if we make a big dome here and then kind of some tunnels branching off. But I did want to go ahead and at least just get something going. So with that being said, this is going to be a little bit tough. We're going to have to kind of do this. Oh, okay. Well, we're already finding underwater caves, so that's both helpful and not helpful at the same time. But if we can just get ourselves like 1 solid air block, then we'll be good to go. Okay, we did it. We have 1 air block down here. So, I mean, at least we won't drown. So I think as long as, oh, that is exactly what I did not want to do. We got to be super careful, because if you don't, you accidentally misplace any water or whatever, it'll just instantly fill back up again. So draining water is like one of the things that I am the absolute worst at. But why is water coming through there? Okay, trying to see what areas we have. Okay, so there we go. We got this part cleared out. I mean, here you go. We have an underwater base. I mean, it is a little bit scuffed, but I mean, it is underwater. I think it counts as a base, and we have some windows. So, you know, I think that counts as a W for us. With this new base, I think there's going to be a couple of things that are going to be really cool to play around with. Not only the kelp and all the coral and just making the ocean look cool, but also using some of the water streams with the different bubbles. I think we're gonna be able to do some really cool stuff with that. Entrances to get to the surface, all that kind of stuff. And just playing around with the lighting in general. I know some of the new Nether stuff has some cool lighting and some different color themes, so all that together should making a base down here pretty cool. As lame as this area looks, I'm excited for it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call the episode there. Today we got a lot done, made some really cool stuff, and we've officially started our base underwater. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.